The Rundown, Part 2, A Farlost Story by John Miro.
Twilight fell upon the darkening road. I found myself again alone. Street lights went out by one, by two, by three. Now reveled in the shadows that had grown. Yes, I reveled in the darkness I had known.
Farlost, Planet Casti, Locklaw, Sky City, Little Terra Town, East Side. 17 months ago. Vernie Mola was sweating buckets and carrying a beat-up cardboard box full of metal bits and wire into the alley off Jacka Way. Jayne leaned on the wall by the back door into his walk-up apartment, watching him as he staggered down the alley looking over his shoulder as he came. When Vernie saw her, he stopped dead in his tracks. His eyes flitted back the way he'd come and then down to the heavy box in his hands, considering his options. Jayne flipped back, the long hair dropping over her left eye, and cocked an eyebrow. "Hi, Vernie," she breathed, and lifted one leg to put the bottom of her boot against the wall, letting her knee fall to the side and bounce lazily halfway closed and open again. Vernie's eyes locked on Jayne's pants just south of the border, and she could see the moment he forgot about running. He licked his lips and double-timed it towards the door, waddling twice as fast to manage his heavy box of scavenged metals and grinning like Christmas. "Too easy," Jayne muttered under her breath. She wanted to shake her head and laugh, but she'd already baited the hook. "What, is it a slow night downtown?" he asked, clearly aiming for nonchalant, but landing closer to dying of thirst and eyeing a tall drink of water. Jayne rolled her eyes, letting them take their time falling down over the laundry-festooned side of his walk-up and the story's tall, perfectly smooth power station wall on the other side of the alley. By the time they fell back down to Vernie's moon-sized eyes and a little farther south, she could see he'd bit down on her bait hard. "Bad night to make a living," she cooed, eyeing Vernie as he staggered closer. "But you look like you're doing okay, big man." He tried to come off smooth, she'd give him that, but Vernie swelled up even more at the intimation, in a couple of ways. "Might be," he grunted as he stopped beside her at the door. "Might be willing to share the wealth, too. He shifted the box and reached for the door. The fact he couldn't take his eyes off Jayne's chest made the going harder. "You got all your shots, pretty kitty?" Jayne pushed gently off the wall with her foot, lithely dropping it and swaying closer to her mark. "Oh yeah, big boy. All my girl parts are up to date," Jayne purred. She wrapped her long fingers around the apartment door's handle, stroking slowly up and down. "And my work tat is the prettiest little tramp stamp, Vernie. All greens, fresh from my last inspection." She leaned close and breathed on Vernie's ear. "Want me to get the door for you, big boy? I'm on the clock now, right?" Vernie swallowed and nodded, speechless and wide-eyed. "Oh yeah, on the clock, sure thing, pretty lady." Jayne gave a throaty laugh, a genuine one this time, and opened the door. "That case, you ready to, Jayne nodded her head to the open door. "Climb inside and get down to business." Vernie edged closer to her, torn momentarily between staying close to her here or getting close to her on the inside. Jayne laughed again, seductive this time. "You paying for the night, Vernie? Otherwise, I want you now, big man. Hurry." There it was, that moment of hesitation. Vernie looked back at his box of no doubt stripped and stolen parts, and then back at the alleyway. "We done business before. I think I'd have remembered you, you know?" Maybe, Jayne thought, some part of Vernie's lizard brain was starting to do the math. She leaned closer to Vernie's ear. "I think you done business with my sister, Vernie. How about we play that, anyway? How about we play I want to know all the stuff my sister knows?" Vernie was inside the door before she got the last words out. Finally, Jayne muttered, twisting her neck to crack it and shrugging her shoulders out of the posture all the working girls adopted when customers came sniffing. She delivered a swift kick to Vernie's backside that sent all the stripped fittings and wire flying through the air, and the man himself face down onto the dirty hallway floor. "You've been a bad boy, Vernie," Jayne said in her normal voice. "Sammat wants his money. Sammat's annoyed that for a fat piece of shack you sure can run fast and hide good." Jayne stepped inside, flicking both hands and feeling the knuckles and wrists crack as she loosened up for the fun part. "Sammat told me not to be gentle." You have been listening to The Rundown, a Farlost story, written by John Miro. Learn more at servingworlds.com. Opening music, Everything Is Not What It Appears, kindly provided by Nate Maingard at natemaingard.com. Closing music, Full On by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com. If you like what you hear, you can become a patron and support more stories at patreon.com/servingworlds. Thanks for listening. See you next week.